I would also like to introduce my team first of all. Mr. Salim Kaunda, the head of research and analysis. So, Policy Monitoring and Research Center, PMRC, is a public policy think tank aimed at supplementing and complementing government's efforts and policy reforms. And our major mandate as a think tank was established in 2012 by the Patriotic Front is actually to translate the aspirations of the PF manifesto into national development plans. So this is to make sure that there are no gaps between the aspirations of the party that were promised to the people, the development agenda that was promised to the people before the Patriotic Front formed government. So we work with different stakeholders. We work with parliamentary committees where we appear from time to time to explain topical issues through research-based evidence. And also we play as an advisory role to different government departments as well by offering our expertise on different topical issues. Also, one of our stated aims is to explain what government is doing in terms of policy measures to the general public.
This time, our delegation is sent by the CPC, International Department, come to Zambia to further this party-to-party exchange and interaction, and to learn more about your development stories and success and your government's experience. And also would like to inquire more about your investment planning, various policy, taxation, so that we could help inform our parties' decision making in relation to our cooperation with Zambia.
Right, and just to take you back a little bit, just for you to understand the organizational structure, PMRC has an independent board, so we operate autonomously, and this was deliberately put in place so that this think tank can offer tangible advice to government that is driven by the vision of the sitting government to deliver the development agenda of this country, and also to make sure that people are lifted out of poverty. So with that said, China has been one of the greatest examples, if not the major example, of how in the recent past it has managed to remove so many people from poverty, their people into, leading them into prosperity. And as a think tank, we are inspired by the Chinese approach, the Chinese government's approach right now towards development. They are saying we have moved from just development policy approach into people of lifting livelihoods through making sure that they are investing in the people themselves. So as a think tank, we have had a lot of lessons to learn, and we hope that the partnership through the Chinese embassy here in Zambia can actually grow, and we hope that we will see in the near future that Zambia actually gets to greater height, just like the Chinese government has done. Now, I would like to pass on, after you have perhaps heard this, I would like to pass on the microphone to my head of research to explain some of the few policy briefs that we are working on recently and what we have done ourselves, between ourselves and the Chinese government through the embassy and our links with other think tanks in China.
We have been working with Shanghai Institute of International Studies, as well as the Institute of African Studies in Beijing as well. And we have an understanding of how much they invest into overall the development growth of China. And we're trying to bring those lessons to Zambia to see how think tanks such as ourselves, as well as others, can be of much more greater value to the development of our country. Phases of infrastructure development, and so China has been of greater help in terms of financing, in terms of actual capacity, and so wanted to have a discussion with different stakeholders on how we can bring about a win-win situation to have as many Zambians as possible learn the skills from the Chinese nationals that are coming up. And myself and other researchers, we've been in China for some time to learn from the Chinese think tank. And this has helped us to be better as a think tank and to channel our interventions in a proper manner to the government. How best China can engage with Zambia and Africa. And our executive director also is just from attending a similar forum, and I'm sure she will clarify more on that. And so apart from that work that we'll be doing, we are also working on the decentralization. I think that's one of the lessons that we learned when we were in China, into how different towns in China, different cities, have been empowered to shape their own development as a town, as a province, as a city. And we've seen that no wonder China has been quick to develop.
To prosperity will require of us to take issues of industrialization very seriously, and of course modernization through education, educating our people to drive that agenda. Nothing is impossible, because even the last Africa China think tank forum that I attended, it was actually a part of the university that was hosting in Beijing, which was actually hosted by the universities in Shanghai, but then they were hosting in Beijing, and it was a very successful think tank forum where we even had a representative from China Exim Bank, and even the Foreign Affairs Assistant Foreign Affairs Minister was there. This showed the attachment of seriousness of the agenda of the Chinese government. So that alone shows commitment. So we'd like to see the same commitment from ourselves. So we cannot just be talking. As a think tank, we want to lead by example. We want to be the ones now to host. So the only thing that we need is support in that. So we'll start by here. I hope Mr. Gao can take this message also to His Excellency the Ambassador to see that there is a gap and there's a need for PMRC to host this. We are ready to host. And we'll also get clearance from our government and the party itself to say we are hosting an international venture and we are ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your briefing on the four pillars of your center's work. We're very glad to hear that. And your introduction to the role the center plays in your country's development. I quite agree with you on your ideas and suggestions on our all-round cooperation as two countries. And it's quite true that in addition to this overall cooperation, we need to look into specific areas to expand our cooperation, to expand the path and to enrich the content. So to do a good work in these areas, the think tanks play an important role. I think first step is to promote better the mutual understanding between the two sides, the think tanks and the peoples, to learn more about the socio-economic situations of each other and the institutions, laws, regulations, including investment policies enacted by our countries. We need to do it on a long-term basis in various forms through different channels. For example, media briefings and also holding of conferences. At the last FOCA forum held in Joburg, the Chinese government rolled out this 60 billion US dollars in fund in support of our political cooperation in those areas, and it's gratifying to see the solid progress we have made in dispersing and utilizing this massive fund. Just as we approach the upcoming Beijing summit of FOCA. As you see, China has offered this vision of building community with a shared future with all the other countries, as well as the initiative of the Belt and Road on the principles of joint consultation, contribution, and winning results.
We have seen a growth pattern, but even if it's not just the 5 years, going backwards, we have seen the country advancing in terms of its economic status, and we have scored per year. The gross domestic product is increasing as well, and the current government is also inclusive, just like we are founded on democratic values. At the end of the day, we appreciate that it is healthy for a country like ours to have different political parties, and all of us, each political party has ideologies, and they want to see the country move forward, and each political party wants to see that the country is governed perhaps on good governance grounds. And having talked about the negative aspect, but the overall picture is that the democratic space is very healthy. It is very healthy, and we are a peaceful nation. We remain peaceful, and the country looks forward to developing all sectors, and especially bringing up our people through the different programs that we have talked about, the economic and social programs that we have talked about.
I think moving forward, one thing that really stands out is that the aspect of jobs for Zambia is very key. Zambia has a young population, and these people need to be absorbed in jobs. However, we understand that opportunities are not that many, and probably one proposal that can really help is with the setting up of manufacturing industries in Zambia. We have quite a number of resources, but we do not have the technology, the capacity to manufacture here in Zambia. We feel that if China can come on board to help set up, partner with Zambian companies, to partner with the government, and set up as many industries, we feel that it would help to have most of our youths be in employment. On the other hand, it will help Zambia to add value to its produce. It will help Zambia to export finished products. It will help Zambia overall to earn much more than it is currently earning with its resources. China. And how those reforms have not only helped China, but helped Africa as a whole, because we are able to translate from the time the reforms and opening up came into place to also how much more China was open with Africa, and how Africa now was able to look to China away from other countries that had colonized it. I think that is very key. So it was very ideal for China to open up, and those reforms are still being felt today with the Belt and Project that we feel is a very monumental project that is actually going to change the trade dynamics of the world, because it will provide connectivity from China all the way coming, I think, even to Africa to benefit. It will also help with Africa's quest for integration, because there will be much more movement, seeing that Africa has just signed the Continental Free Trade Area. So it means that all those efforts will be helped as well. Now, we've seen with China and technology, China has been able to bring in multi-facility economic zones, which I think are very prominent in China, in Shenzhen province. And so we've seen those in Rwanda, and also we have quite a few here in Zambia. And most importantly, it's the technology that they've been able to bring, which we have been able to see. So going forward, I think it would also be cardinal if China can support Zambia for the establishment of more industrial clusters and multi-facility economic zones that would attach different people, and those would be centers of excellence where our young people can be taught skills, practical skills, industry skills, and they will be able to work in those multi-facility economic zones and produce. That will speed up our efforts to industrialize, that will speed up our efforts to be a developed middle-income nation, that will deal with the issues of skills transfer, technology transfer, and capacity building. And I think then also, lastly, it's just also for China to support the major projects as well that have been outlined in the 7th National Development Plan. So for our part as Zambia, we are clear about what we want, and in the spirit of the friendship we have with China, it would be ideal if China can take also keen interest and support more projects that are in our National Development Plan. Thank you.
So we hope and trust that Zambia will be up and out of poverty. Thank you.